Okay, everyone, welcome back to my channel. Here we are going to see the second chapter of the class 11th biology, that is the biological classification. In this chapter, we are going to study different kinds of kingdom, that is monera, protista, fungi, plant and animalia. Which each of the kingdom we will see their characteristics, feature and why are they divided in different groups. So let's get started with how they were divided into five kingdom. Their history mainly there was first the two kingdom classification, three kingdom, four kingdom, and finally there was a five kingdom classification. So we will see first of all the history part, which is not given in NCERT, but it is little bit important on the basis of your NEET MCQ. So let's start with that. Okay, in the last chapter, we see that taxonomical hierarchy, how any organism is been named or how it is been kept into different groups. So in this chapter, we will see that according to which characteristics, which organism is kept in which group. So first of all, we need to see that how they were divided. So first of all, there was the scientist named as Aristotle. The Aristotle, based on the morphological characteristics, divided into plants and animals. He divided plants into trees, shrubs, and herbs. We all know what trees, shrubs, and herbs mean. Animals into red blood and those which doesn't have the red blood. So Aristotle divided into plants and animals, plants based on trees, shrubs, and herbs. Animal based on whether they are red blooded or whether they are red blooded not. Next comes the scientist Linnaeus. Linnaeus again also did the same thing. He also divided it into two kingdoms. But the difference is Aristotle divided into morphological characteristics, but Linnaeus just simply divided into planta and animalia. He doesn't describe it much in details. The drawback was that there was mainly he was not able to differentiate eukaryotic and prokaryotic. He kept all the prokaryotics and eukaryotics into plantae. So he was not able to differentiate it that this prokaryotic organism or eukaryotic organism is will come in plantae or animalia. Next, unicellular or multicellular, whether the organism is there are some organisms like algae and other prokaryotic organism which are just single cell. They doesn't make the group of cell tissue. So he didn't differentiate between unicellular and multicellular, and also doesn't differentiate between the photosynthetic non-photosynthetic organism. So there are organisms such as plants which do the photosynthesis. There are some other organisms also other than plant which do the photosynthesis for their own living. So he doesn't differentiate between photosynthetic and non-photosynthetic organism. Next came the scientist Haeckel. Haeckel did three kingdom classification. The three kingdom classification includes Protista, Plantae, and Animalia. Here again there was some drawback because the Protista is mainly based on eukaryotic, but he also included some of the prokaryotic organism, and the Protista is mainly autotrophic and heterotropic, but here the prokaryotic cells are also, some of them are parasitic, means they depend on some other organism, so it doesn't differentiate between them. Plantae and Animalia is same as it is. The next scientist which came in this part was the Copeland. The Copeland divided into four kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Plantae, and Animalia. Monera is mainly prokaryotic, Protista is eukaryotic unicellular, Plantae is again, here the main drawback came of the Copeland, that here he also included some of the fungi into Plantae. See, fungi comes in different category, different kingdom, because the fungi have some of the, it is mainly parasitic, means depend on other organism, but plants mainly depend on themselves only. They are mainly autotrophic. So here there was the major drawback of the Copeland. He was not able to differentiate the between fungi and plantae and animalia as it is. So Copeland divided into four kingdom classification. Now the main hero of the whole story comes here. That is the five kingdom classification. See, five kingdom classification is universally accepted right now, and each and every studies are based on these five kingdoms only. So, who did that? First of all, it was R.H. Whittaker who gave its best to divide the organism into five kingdoms. How he divided it based on cell structure, body organization, mode of nutrition, reproduction, and phylogenetic relationship. So, cell structure, it is made up of which cell wall? Body organization, its cellular, tissue level, or organ level. Mode of nutrition, autotrophic, heterotrophic. Reproduction, which type of reproduction they do. Phylogenetic relationship means with genetically with other organism, which kind of relationship they maintain. So this was how R.S. Whitaker did the classification. But before going through this five kingdom which he gave, let me just tell you what is prokaryotic organism. So we will see first of all what is prokaryotic organism. Starting with the prokaryotic cell. First of all, what is prokaryotic cell? See, prokaryotic cell वर्ड जहां पर भी आए सबसे पहले सोचो बैक्टीरिया. बैक्टीरिया क्या है? सिंगल सेल. सो प्रोकैरियोटिक सेल्स ग्रुप में नहीं होते, they basically सिंगल सेल्ड ऑर्गेनिज्म हम देखेंगे. But this prokaryotic cell is mainly going to come in your cell chapter. But to understand this classification, we are going to understand a little bit about prokaryotic cell. First of all, what is prokaryotic cell? Prokaryotic cell has cell membrane as eukaryotic. See, eukaryotic cell is a cell which is found in all animals and other organisms. But prokaryotic cell is only and only found in one kingdom, that is monera. It has cell membrane like other organism. But the difference is that the cell membrane of prokaryotic cell, see, this is okay. Let me just draw it down so it will be really helpful. Okay. So this is just to take an example. This is uh, just a rough diagram of the bacteria or a prokaryotic cell. So how does prokaryotic cell look like? First of all, it has a cell membrane. This is a cell membrane. Cell membrane has some of the inclusions which is called as mesosome. What does the mesosome means? This is mesosome. It means that it is the inclusion part, or we can say that somewhat different irregular part of the cell membrane which help in certain function such as DNA replication and distribution to daughter cell whenever they divide. So this is the function of mesosome. It is a characteristic feature of a prokaryotic cell found only and only in prokaryotic cell. Next is they lack cell organelles. They lack cell organelles. Means they have no such organelles like mitochondria or other centrosomes and other organelles which helps in the function. So they have no cell organelles. Next, genetic material is naked. Okay, this is interesting thing. And circular DNA is plasmid. See, in prokaryotic cells, the genetic material is not covered by any nuclear membrane or nucleosome or any such thing. They are just randomly arranged and grouped together. Next is they have a certain bacteria have a circular DNA. This circular DNA you can see. This circular DNA is called as plasmid. This is called as plasmid. The plasmid is very important for some of the antibiotic resistance, and all the phenotypic characters is shown by this plasmid. So they have a circular DNA which is extra means they are not where all the DNA and all found. They are found in the cell only, but not the near the genetic makeup where the genetic makeup of the cell is located. So this is the another characteristic feature of prokaryotic cell. Next is specialized cell membrane called mesosomes, as I already. So these are the few of the characteristic feature of the prokaryotic cell, which is they have cell membrane, but the thing is they have also a mesosome in their cell membrane. Next is they lack cell organelles. Next is genetic material is naked. Circular DNA is plasmid. So this is what the prokaryotic cell rough idea looks like. Okay, this is only and only the rough idea. So we were on this five kingdom classification given by R.H. Whittaker. Now we are going to study this five kingdom classification, how they are been divided. But I was just want to explain you what is prokaryotic so that you have the best idea and you can learn better what is this five kingdom. So that's why I gave you that. Now let's get to the main point or topic of this chapter. Okay, so that is five kingdom. This is the table you must know. This is the basic table. I would like to give this table literally the 5 star. Because if you know this table, you are going to pass this chapter. If you know this table, you can literally understand all the further topics. If you don't know this table, you can't understand all the further topics. So please, 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 by however means, just learn this table. Okay? I will explain it. There is nothing like hard and you can't be able to remember it. But you need to revise it by yourself also. So coming to the point. So the we read that the base the Whittaker did the classification based on cell structure, body organization, nutrition, reproduction, phylogenetic relationship. So how he did that, we will see that. So first of all, first kingdom, that is monera. Okay, let me use some other color. Monera. Okay, so basically the cell is prokaryotic. I told you prokaryotic monera bacteria. Next is what the cell wall is made up of. This is non-cellulosic. There is absence of cellulose in cell wall. You need to remember this cell wall because everyone has different thing is the polysaccharide plus amino acid. नॉन सेल्यूलोजिक है पर उसमें पॉलीसेक्राइड्स है और अमीनो एसिड है व्हाट इज पॉलीसेक्राइड व्हाट इज अमीनो एसिड इज अगेन वन अनदर चैप्टर you will know that but right now remember this. The protista is doesn't have cell wall usually. It is only and only present in some. Fungi has chitin. This is the characteristic feature of the cell wall of the fungi that the cell wall is made up of chitin. It is a different type of polysaccharide. It is polysaccharide only, but it is a different type of polysaccharide. Next, plantae. Plantae has cellulose. This is the characteristic feature of all the plants that the cell wall is made up of cellulose. And here it is absent. Animalia doesn't have any cell wall. So you can say that all the animals, including the human beings, doesn't have the cell wall in their cell. So monera, polysaccharide plus amino acid, protista, it is only present in some fungi, chitin, cellulose in plantae, and animalia doesn't have it. Now coming to next characteristic feature, that is nuclear membrane. See, I told you in that prokaryotic cell explanation only. The nuclear membrane is absent. DNA, that is the genetic material of prokaryotic cell, is naked. So monera doesn't have nuclear membrane. Protista have nuclear membrane. Fungi also have it. Plantae also have it, and animalia also have it. So nuclear membrane is only and only absent in monera. You can also remember that prokaryotic cell, no nuclear membrane. Eukaryotic cell, presence of nuclear membrane. They all are eukaryotic. They all have nuclear membrane. It is prokaryotic. It doesn't have nuclear membrane. You can remember like that also. Next is body organization. The monera is on the cellular level only. Means each cell represent each organism. Same thing goes for protista, but the difference is it is eukaryotic, means it has different kind of cell wall. Nuclear membrane is also present. It is different from monera, but the body organization is at cellular level only. Fungi is multicellular or loose tissue. We all know that the group of cell is known as tissue. So fungi are multicellular and loose tissue type. Plantae has tissue ya organ. Plantae, it is important because the higher we go, the more the organized the organism is. So plantae, here comes the tissue or organ level. Now, animal. We all know that animal is most organized organism or kingdom. So it has tissue, organ and organ system. Why we wrote tissue or organ system? Because there are some organism which comes in the lower category of animalia, which has only tissue or organ level. So they are only based on tissue, organ or organ system. But we human have an organ system, and there are other organisms we will see in Animalia chapter also have organ system. Next, coming to the mode of nutrition. See, before that you need to know what is autotrophic, what is heterotrophic. Okay. Monera is autotrophic. Chemosynthetic means they synthesize their food from chemicals. And photosynthetic means some of them depends on sunlight. Heterotrophic means depend on other, so saprophytic or parasitic. Protista is autotrophic, that is, but it is only photosynthetic, not chemosynthetic. And heterotrophic, we all know what is heterotrophic is. Fungi. Fungi is heterotrophic. Truly heterotrophic means it doesn't synthesize any of its food by its own. That's why I told you that in that four kingdom where Copra and kept Monera, Protista, Plantae, and Animalia together. He kept the fungi with Plantae, but fungi doesn't prepare their own food. So that was the clashing point. So that's why the prokaryotic are heterotrophic, means they depend on other hosts or other living organism or dead organism for its food. Next is Plantae. Plantae is pure autotrophic and photosynthesis. They does not depend on chemical or host or dead organism. They make their own food by photosynthesis. Animalia. Animalia can't prepare their own food. They are purely heterotrophic. But holozoic, yeah, saprophytic. Got it? Holozoic, yeah, saprophytic. Means they doesn't depend on living host. Means they doesn't take the food while the other organism is living. So it is not parasitic, it is saprophytic or holozoic. Means they take the part of that organism, like we eat only the fruit of the plant, which is living. A plant is of course living. We eat the dead part of the plant or other animals, chicken and all that. So this is heterotrophic but not the parasitic. Okay. So this is how the five kingdom are been divided. So five kingdom classification, we saw that how Monera, Protista, fungi, and Animalia plantae are been divided based on cell type, cell wall, nuclear membrane, body organization, and mode of nutrition. This table is bit easy to remember if you just understand each and every term, and if you understand the characteristic of prokaryotic, then you can of course learn nuclear membrane and cell wall and body organization. Mode of nutrition is you have to like little bit learn it, because for protista, monera, and fungi you might not be knowing, so you have to learn that thing. But for plant and animalia, we all know that plant is autotrophic and animalia is heterotrophic, we all know that. So by relating, you have to learn it. Yeah, I can understand that the cell wall part will be difficult for you guys, but if you understand it, you will be easily able to go through this topic. Okay. Okay, so this was all about five kingdom classification, but here another scientist showed their aura and came into this whole thing, which was Carl Woos. Carl Woos gave six kingdom classification. What he did was he divided all the organism into three domains. Okay? How three domains? he kept the eukaryotic in one domain. What he did is he kept the eukaryotic in one domain and divided the monera in two domains. So these both are monera. But you will see when I will teach you monera. Monera has two category, that is archaebacteria and eubacteria. They have difference. Literally, they have great difference. That's why he kept the monera in two different domains, archaebacteria and eubacteria. Archaebacteria means these are organisms which can live in extreme environmental conditions, like where no other organism can exist. This cannot exist. But bacteria are simple bacteria. We will see that in Monera. But he divided Monera into two categories, that is Archaebacteria, Eubacteria, and kept all the eukaryotic organism in one domain. So here we can say that he did the sixth kingdom. How? Let's see. He kept Protista, fungi, plant, and animalia in one, but he still divided it. So these are all one, two, three, four. But he divided Monera into two parts, that is Archaebacteria and eubacteria. So he did this six kingdom classification or three domain classification of the organism. Who did that? Carl Woos. So you need to remember him also. This was all about all the history and how five kingdom classification came into the account. And based on these characteristics, we are going to study each and every kingdom in detail in this coming videos. First of all, this chapter mainly accounts for monera, protista, and fungi, and little bit about plant and animalia, because plant has different chapter, and animalia also has different chapter. So we are going to study these two topics differently, but this chapter mainly give importance to monera, protista, and fungi. We are going to see. So this was all about this scientist and classification. Okay. Let's see the kingdom Monera. Coming to the first kingdom, that is the kingdom Monera. So here I told you the sole members of the Monera are bacteria. Bacteria consist of prokaryotic cells. By now you will be remembering these things. That is good. I told you all the features of prokaryotic cells. That is, they doesn't have a nuclear membrane or other cell organelles like eukaryotic cells. Next feature of Monera is they are present in extreme habitats such as hot springs, deserts, snow, and deep oceans. Means whenever we can't see any organism surviving in such conditions, also we can see Monera. But in Monera also there is a specific group called as Archaebacteria. They are most famous for such extreme habitats. We will see that. This is part of Kingdom Monera only. We will see that. Next is many of them are parasite, means they live on other living organism and get nutrients from that organism. Now the kingdom Monera is been divided into four categories, that is Coccus, Bacillus, Vibrio, and Spirillum. How this name came into account, we'll see. First of all, let me tell you one by one. First is coccus. So coccus means spherical. These are the group of bacteria. You can also call in plural cocci. These are the group of bacteria which is spherical in shape. You can see here. These are spherical in shape. So they are called as cocci in plural and in singular coccus. Next is bacillus. What does the word bacillus means? It means rod shape. And singular form of bacillus is bacilli. How they are been found? Here you can see these are rod structures. You can see. So this is bacilli, second group of the kingdom Monera. Bacterial classification. Next is Vibrium. Vibrium is comma shaped. And in plural, it is called as Vibrio. Next is spiralium. Spiralium means spiral and it's plural form of spiral. Okay. So I told you about cocci and bacilli. This is what spiralium looks like. You can see here the spirals. Next is vibrio. I told you comma shaped. You can see no, this is comma and this is similar bit with this thing. Okay. Cocci, bacilli, spiralium, and vibrio. You have to remember this four by heart because in the further chapters it will be really helpful as well as in your further studies it will be helpful. If you are pursuing MBBS, it is really important to know these four categories: coccus, bacillus, vibrium, spirillum, or you can also say cocci, bacilli, vibrio, or spirillum. Done? Okay. Next is structure. Structure is simple but complex in behavior. Means स्ट्रक्चर सिंपल है लेकिन उनका बिहेवियर कॉम्प्लेक्स है. You can see that it's spherical, bacilli, spirillum, or vibrio, but all the mechanism or all the reproduction metabolism they do, it's complex in behavior. Most extensive metabolic diversity means they have lots and lots of diversity in their metabolism. That's why we see that any bacterial infection is sometimes change their antigenic structure. So it is really hard to treat that. So that change in metabolism or antigenic structure is really diversified that it's hard to treat it. So that's why most extensive metabolic diversity. Okay, so first bacteria is archaebacteria. These are the bacteria which live in harsh habitats. Now, according to it, which habitat they are living, they are divided into three categories: halophiles, thermoacidophils, and methanogen. Halophiles are the bacteria which live in extreme salty areas. Thermoacidophils, thermo means heat. So they live in hot springs. Methanogens means in marshy areas where you can see all the biogas. In such condition, they live. So this was all the three different categories where you can find the archaebacteria. Now, why this archaebacteria can live in such extreme condition is due to their different cell wall structure. Their cell wall structure is different, which makes them live in extreme environment. So the bacteria has cell wall structure made up of polysaccharide and amino acid, but the archaebacteria has different type of cell wall structure, which make them live in such condition. Now, some of the animals, which is called as ruminant animals. See, what is ruminant animal? Basically, ruminant animal is the animal जो अपना खाना खाते हैं, स्टोर करते हैं, फिर कुछ देर बाद आराम से जब उन्हें टाइम मिलता है तब वो चबाते हैं और डाइजेस्ट करते हैं. हमने देखा है गाय पहले खाना खा लेती है फटाफट, फिर एक जगह पे बैठती है, फिर उसके खाना वापस उसके मुंह में आता है, वो चबाती है और फिर वापस पेट में जाता है. So these are the animals which do this process, such as cows and buffalo. So the cows and buffalo has presence of methanogens in their gut, which make the biogas. Biogas is nothing but the organic gas made up of CO2, methane, and hydrogen and nitrogen, which they release in the environment and do different environmental things. So, methanogens are the bacteria which is present in the gut of these ruminant animals. So, this was all about archaebacteria because they are important because they are different from the actual true bacteria. True bacteria की cell wall structure polysaccharide और amino acid से बनी होती है, but archaebacteria की cell wall structure different होती है जिसके कारण वो harsh habitat में रह पाते हैं और according to where they live, they are halophiles, thermoacidophils, or methanogens. Okay, so this was all about the archaebacteria. Now let's move towards the eubacteria. Okay, so next type of bacteria is Eubacteria. Eubacteria are called a true bacteria because they have presence of rigid cell wall. मतलब कि उनकी cell wall fix होती है. और अगर वो bacteria motile है, what does the word motile means? The word motile means movement. If the bacteria do the movement, then they have the presence of flagellum. Next is cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria is a group of bacteria which is called as blue-green algae. Now they are photosynthetic autotrophs. They have the chlorophyll A. See, chlorophyll A is found in the plants. Plants have chlorophyll A, B, and different other types of chlorophyll which help in photosynthesis. But this cyanobacteria also have chlorophyll A, which do the photosynthesis, and that's why they are photosynthetic autotrophs. Next is they are unicellular, colonial, or filamentous. They are found in freshwater, marine और terrestrial algae. Means वो unicellular होते हैं, वो colony में रहते हैं या filaments में रहते हैं और fresh water और सारी जगह पे available होते हैं. See, ये देख रहे हो? ये जो ये blue blue आपको border दिख रही है ना? This blue blue border is a sheath, gelatinous sheath. This sheath is found in cyanobacteria. This is the feature of cyanobacteria. Another point, this cyanobacteria can also oxidize atmospheric nitrogen, which is the feature of cyanobacteria. And the cells which do this are called heterocysts. This is called heterocysts, and they do this fixing atmospheric nitrogen. I told you, surrounded by gelatinous sheet. Bloom in water bodies. We all know what the word bloom means. So, they bloom in water bodies. They fix atmospheric nitrogen in specialized cell called heterocysts. Example are nostoc and enabena. So, this figure is of nostoc, which is filamentous. Okay. So, this was all about the cyanobacteria. Okay. First category of eubacteria, photosynthetic, chlorophyll A, colonial filamentous, gelatinous sheath, fixed atmospheric nitrogen. Next, starting with the another category of this bacteria, which is chemosynthetic autotrophs. What is this chemosynthetic means? It means they require chemicals for nutrition. They oxidize nitrates and nitrites for energy production. What does this energy production means? ATP generation. We all know that the energy currency of cell is ATP. So they generate ATP with the help of nitrates and nitrites. Now next they recycle nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, iron and sulfur. देखो सैंड में, सॉइल में, हर जगह पे, लेक, ओशन में बहुत सारे इनऑर्गेनिक न्यूट्रिएंट्स खुले पड़े होते हैं. So this utilize this for their energy production. So they have been recycled. Next group is heterotrophic bacteria. See, autotrophic photosynthetic हो या फिर ये chemosynthetic हो, ये सब कम होते हैं, लेकिन सबसे अबेंडेंट होता है हेट्रोट्रॉपिक. हेट्रोट्रॉपिक मतलब कि वो किसी और पे डिपेंड होता है फूड के लिए. मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट डिकम्पोजर्स, दे आर द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट डिकम्पोजर्स. उनके एक एक फंक्शन देखते हैं. मेकिंग कर्ड फ्रॉम मिल्क, दूध में से दही बनाना, is done by the bacteria called as lactic acid bacillus. You will learn in 12th also this name and also in the further MBBS study if you are pursuing that field. But you need to remember this for your knowledge that from making curd from milk, the bacteria is lactic acid bacillus. Production of antibiotics. We all know that here I wrote here that pathogen cause damage, crop, animals, pet, cholera, typhoid, tetanus. They cause different diseases to animals. So the antibiotics means their medicine is also being made from this bacteria only, from heterotrophic bacteria only. So we can say that the production of antibodies biotic is done by this heterotrophic bacteria only. They fix nitrogen to legume roots. What is legume roots? Legume root is nothing but the roots which take the nitrogen from the atmosphere and transport it to the different parts of the plant like leaf and stem and all that for energy purpose. So they fix at nitrogen and respiration purpose. They fix nitrogen to legume roots. Okay. So pathogen cause damage, that is for animal cholera, typhoid, tetanus. Cholera is caused by Vibrio cholerae, and tetanus is caused by Botulinum tetani. Next is reproduction. The reproduction is done by fission. Here you can see in the diagram that the DNA is getting been distributed, cell membrane is distributed, and cell wall is been distributed. So this is what fission is, means they divide into two. Now the sexual reproduction is by DNA transfer. Okay, there is a different mechanism like transduction and transformation and conjugation, all that thing. But this there is a process called as transduction in which the bacteria which has DNA transfer its DNA to the another bacteria which doesn't have DNA. So this is how the sexual reproduction in bacteria take place. Next is thus just a small information of the another group of bacteria called mycoplasm. Mycoplasm एक ऐसा बैक्टीरिया जिसमें बिल्कुल सेल वॉल नहीं है, अलग टाइप की सेल वॉल तो छोड़ो, है ही नहीं सेल वॉल. So they lack cell wall. They are the smallest living cell. Means human, plants, animals, pathogens, viral DNA सबको मिलाकर देखे तो ये माइकोप्लाज्मा स्मॉलेस्ट लिविंग सेल है. ये ऑक्सीजन के बिना सर्वाइव करता है. दैट्स व्हाई इट्स कॉल्ड द एनारोबिक. And they of course called damage to plants and animals. That's why they are pathogenic to plants and animals. This just a small information you need to remember, because MCQ में पूछेगा smallest living cell. You have to take mycoplasma, okay, which lacks cell wall. If it is written which has cell wall, then you don't need to mark mycoplasma. But if it is written which smallest living cell which lacks cell wall, then you have to take mycoplasma. Done? So here we saw different types of bacteria, and it's how the kingdom monera is being classified and all the scientists' name. So this was all about this video. Next, we will see the next kingdom Protista.